Probably should have cleaned them before I started. That'll have to do. Yeah, I think I might have gotten tongue oil on the lenses. That's not good. It's probably about time for me to get new glasses anyway. All right. Again, it's Sunday on Memorial Day, so Memorial Day weekend, would be surprised if we have a lot of people, and that's all right. Hey everybody, welcome. Just melting off the ends of the cords here, and then I'll get started cording up the yawara. We got some steaks we're gonna cord wrap this morning, and this morning might be a little shorter than normal just because I don't have nearly as much stuff to wrap up and do today as usual. But if you got any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. Help me be a little less bored this morning while I do my finishing work. Hey, what's up? What does that say? Sorry. Empty cat. Hi, how you doing? Welcome. I appreciate it. Thank you. I got one more. Good morning. Last one. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me at this ungodly hour on a Sunday morning, if you're in the U.S. anyway. All right. This morning we're going to be cording up some yawara. Got some oak ones, and then we're going to cord up some steaks. But I've got these. These are red oak pocket yawara. What happened to my finger? Oh, so I work on a belt sander, and every now and then my finger gets a little too close, and for some reason the belt sander can't tell the difference between wood and my skin, and so I sanded off a little bit of skin from my knuckle while I was shaping these. It's okay. It happens pretty often. Show my belly. No. No, nobody wants to see that. Oh, it's all right. It happens all the time. I pretty much always have at least one knuckle that looks like this. And it's all right. Should I cord up these bad boys? And then probably about once a week or once every 2 weeks or so, I have a little slip on the belt sander while I'm doing my shaping work. And my knuckles pay the price, and that's okay. How's that? Let's see. Neftali, welcome. Thank you for saying hello. There we go. Now you got a nice little palm stick / yawara that is anchored to your hand. Got a couple more of these to do this morning. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate the likes. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Empty Cat. Appreciate that. I'm sure they will. I'm not too worried about it. I just appreciate that anyone shows up to keep me company while I do this on Sunday mornings, because it's lonely in the shop and quiet on Sunday mornings. So I always enjoy having people in here that I can talk to while I'm finishing up all my projects for the week. There we go. That one's done. Got one more of the pocket ones left. And then we've got a long one to do. Or a longer one, I should say. There you go. And everybody always asks me, like, I leave the string long like this. I know it looks like that would get in the way, but there's a reason for that, because not everybody has the same size hands or fingers. So when the customer gets it, what they'll do is they'll undo these knots, adjust it to their hand, then they'll cut these off themselves and do whatever they're gonna do with it. All right. This is a similar one. This is an 8-inch. I think it's 8-inch, probably. Yeah, about an 8-inch pocket yawara, not pocket yawara, just regular yawara. Some people like a longer palm stick. But if you got any questions about what I'm doing or what I do here at Warrior Wood and Props, feel free to drop those in the chat. I will gladly answer them. Will not be showing my belly though. Nobody wants to see my belly. There's no ab checks are happening in here. I don't have any abs to check, really. Excuse me. All right, there we go. That's the last oak one. And this is called a long reach yawara. In Korea, they have a similar thing. They call it a danbong. It doesn't have an anchor, finger anchor like the yawara does, but this one allows you to hit with the back fist area, and you can use this as a baton to block and strike stuff. And for these longer ones, I don't use paracord. I use cotton cord, because when you have one that's off-sided like this, where you have one end longer than the other, it tends to do a lot more moving. And this cotton cord is a little less likely to chafe up your fingers than that paracord. Hola! ¿Qué tal? So, yeah, so this one, we use this cotton cord on it. And if you're interested in anything you see on here, you can go to Warrior Wood and Props on eBay, or you can go to warriorwoodandprops.com. Either of those. Most of the stuff on here ends up on eBay. My main website's mostly for custom orders. Morning, Jay. There we go. Now we got a long reach Ipe yawara. I already have one of these up on the shop. This one I had a customer who wanted to make sure I would have one in stock when he was ready to buy it. So I made a second one. This one will probably just sit until he's ready to buy it. And then if he decides not to, I'll add it to the inventory. But that's it for my yawara this morning. No, not a sex toy, Joel, but thank you for that. I mean, honestly, isn't anything a sex toy if you try hard enough, Joel? Hey, morning, Jacobay. Ohio gozaimasu. All right, let me go put these in my dry room, or my clean room. And I'll be back, and we will do some vampire steaks. It can be, right? So true. I'll be right back, you guys. Give me 2 seconds. Maybe a little longer than 2 seconds. All right. So before I start on these steaks, I've got some boken and wasters over here that I need to I need to buff out because I put the second coats of tung oil on this morning. So give me 1 second. I'll be right here. You'll be able to see me. And then we will do that. Hello. Thanks, Neftali. Thank you. All right. Let me go buff these bad boys out real quick. So I put tung oil on my stuff, and when you do the second coat, you put that on, you wait about 30 minutes, and you buff it out. It just keeps the finish nice and smooth, keeps the bubbles out, all that kind of jazz. So that's what I'm going to do. These are my hickory boken. These are probably some of the toughest boken that I make in my shop. And like all my boken, these are guaranteed. All of my boken and wasters are guaranteed. If they break, when you feel they should not have broken during sparring and practice, I replace them free of charge. And that has only happened once in the last 3 years, and that was because the guy was hitting a steel practice dummy that had no padding on it, that was founded or anchored to the ground with a huge piece of concrete. So yeah, I mean, wood can only do so much against steel. But most of my style of boken, because I don't really have a steam bender, so most of my boken are straight edge. Actually, all of my boken, for the most part, are straight edge. I mostly supply these to ninjutsu and kenjutsu and aikido practitioners. Mostly, they're the only ones that really use straight edge boken. One of these days, I think I'll probably buy some steam bending equipment and start learning to steam bend my boken so they're a little curved. Hello. Oh, this is a daisho set. This is a daito or long sword boken, and then it comes with a shoto. That's why it's called a daisho set, because you have a daito and a shoto. So he kind of puts the two words together. Get this stupid rag over my hand. There we go. Cane and stick fight. Yeah, I mean, I make stuff for that too. I make eskrima sticks. I have rattan and oak eskrima sticks in my shop. I have regular ones, and I have some that are like a Nightwing style stick. This is a waster. This is a Scottish Dirk waster for people that do like HEMA and SCA and Buert and Armored Combat. A lot of times they have practice weapons that are they have competition weapons that are very expensive, and using them in practice is difficult because they don't want to mess up their competition weapons. So I make wasters so that they can use the wasters during sparring practice. They get a little better weight than you get with boffers and padded swords and or plastic and foam stuff. So they use these. They still get a good impact with them. And if they break, it doesn't cost them hundreds of dollars to replace. Last one. And this is also part of the daisho set. This is the tanto that goes with it. Well, practice knife. It goes with the daisho set. So that is buffed out. Hey, welcome everybody. If you're just joining me, this is Warrior Wood and Props. I go live every Sunday morning doing my finishing work for all the projects I did over the weekend. Just did some yawara and buffed out the tung oil on my boken and wasters for this morning. And now we're gonna do some steaks. Still make cutswood bumpers. Not quite sure what that means, but okay. But yeah, it's for practice. It's for trading. So I think with these, I think I'm going to go with white cotton cordage on these. I think that'll contrast well with the dark. Welcome back, Empty Cat. Am I saying that right? Empty Cat? That's how that's said, right? Just making sure. Sometimes it's hard to tell with these usernames. But yeah, I don't know, like most of the Boohurt guys that I sell stuff to aren't beginners. They're usually guys that have been doing it for a while. You know, they just don't want to have to replace their stuff. All right, good. Glad to know I got that right, Empty Cat. Because those blunted steel weapons that they use in armored combat stuff are expensive. If you have to replace them because you're using them in practice all the time. So this is just a vampire steak. I had a cutoff from another project I was doing. I had a bunch of oak cutoffs actually. So the last couple of weekends I've been turning these into vampire steaks, which my shop probably has the biggest selection of vampire steaks of any shop because I love making them. I'm a big fan of vampire movies and books and just vampire stuff in general. Not like Twilight, but more like vampire hunter stuff. Even wrote a vampire hunter novel once upon a time. But that's no longer in print, thank goodness. I wrote it when I was very young. It wasn't very good. And because I was young and thought I was being edgy, I decided that using the F word all the time was a great idea. Way too many F-bombs in that book. The publisher actually made me reduce them before that book went to print because there were way too many F-bombs in that book. That looks good as a rope dart. This one. Actually, Jacope, I've been looking into making a rope dart for a while. I keep researching it and then I never get around to making it. I've been wanting to make a practice rope dart. I've also been looking at maybe making like a practice kusarigama. Just trying to figure out how to make one that's weighted properly and balanced properly, but is still safe to use. Yeah, it was a lot in that book. Too many F-bombs. The book was called Fallen Angels of Vengeance. I don't think it's easy to find anymore. I'm pretty sure it is no longer available anywhere. Which is probably a good thing. One of these days I'm going to go back and write another installment of that story. Probably with that character, because I really like the character in those books. You fight steel weapons. Yoms Vikings, huh? In Yomsburg? Thank you. We have a group here called the Swamp Vikings here in Florida. Because we have swamps here. So they call themselves the Swamp Vikings. They do armored combat. But thank you. I unlike a lot of shops, I guarantee all of my wasters and all of my boken. That's something that you will not find at other shops. It's one of the reasons that my Booher guys buy from me, and my Armored Combat and Armored MMA guys buy from me, because they know if they buy it from me and something goes wrong, because stuff happens. Sometimes there's wood grain issues you don't notice, that the wood grains go in a certain direction and they go to use it and it snaps. And if that happens, they are not out that money, because all they have to do is send me a message, let me know what happened, and I will make another one and send it to them, no charge. They don't need to return the old one. They'll just get a replacement, and easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hey, what's up, G1? Welcome everybody. Just doing my finishing work, and I can get this. There we go. The other thing I'm known for is very simple cord wraps. There we go. Because I like my cord wraps to be easy to replace, easy to take off. There we go. Now we got a fun little vampire steak. That'll go on the shop later today. And then I got these. These are a fun story. Oh, Germany. 30 years, man, that's a long time. I have not practiced much, to be honest with you, in about the last 3 years. I got injured. I still train, but I can't spar anymore. I just have too many injuries. Way too many injuries. I am old. I got way too much gray in the beard, and this body does not hold up to punishment anymore. These are a pretty basic steak that I make in the shop. I'm only making these because I had a situation earlier this year where I ordered bow staff blanks from a vendor that I wasn't familiar with. And instead of sending me bow staff blanks, they sent me broomsticks. And I just mean straight up broomsticks. So they don't really work for anything else, but they work okay as steaks. So, oh yeah, I probably should have measured this. I'd say that's 6 inches, right? Spin it again, please. But the reason I say 6 inches is, fun fact, if you're making a vampire steak, there needs to be at least 6 inches of stabbing tip. And the reason for that is the distance from the top of the pec to the heart in the chest is about 6 inches on average. So if your stabbing tip is not at least 6 inches, it will not work to stake vampires. So, oh, spin what again? This? It's got a pyramidal tip. You want me to spin this one? Well, there we go. So yeah, so fun. So that's something you now know. If you're gonna stake a vampire, you need to have at least 6 inches, if not more, because you never know. If you have a really muscular vampire who's got like big pecs, you might need like 8 to 10 inches. You don't know. But 6 inches is your minimum for a stabbing tip on a vampire steak. That's information that's now in your brain, and it will be in there forever. You're welcome. Another fun fact about stabbing vampires, I feel like I say this every weekend, that I have a master's degree in mythology. Worst financial decision I've ever made. But there's this one part of vampire lore that I love that always gets ignored, which is that you should never stake a vampire with evergreen wood. It has to do with the fact that evergreen wood used to be associated with immortality, and since vampires are immortal beings, you shouldn't stake them with them. So you should never use evergreen wood to stake a vampire. They're like pine, which these are most likely pine. I think they're pine. Hey, what's up, JF? Welcome. Yeah, these. However, if you're buying steaks from me, please don't. Can I stick it on you? Probably. I can. I won't. Um, Speaking of which, if you buy any of my steaks, please don't steak anyone with them. They are for entertainment only. Because, funny story, if you stab someone with a wooden stake and they're a vampire, it will kill them. If you stake someone or you stab someone with a stake and they're not a vampire, it will also kill them. So, yeah, maybe don't do that. Thanks, Jeff. And so these two that are like this, I'm going to be selling these as a set. Just because these are somewhat cheapy little steaks. I don't really feel like anyone wants to buy one of these. Yeah, nicer wood. I might sell them individually, but these are fairly cheap wood. However, you know, 2 steaks for $20 is probably a good price. And probably, you know, someone's doing a vampire slayer outfit for Halloween. Well, if it works on a person, it does not mean they're a vampire, Tony. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that. No, if you stab someone with a stake in the heart, they're still gonna die. It doesn't mean they were a vampire. That means they were a human being with a heart. Silver inlay. I don't have the stuff to do silver inlays. One of these days, I would like to do silver tipped steaks, like where like I get a little smelter, put some silver in and tip the steaks. But I think that would probably make the steaks a lot more expensive. And I wouldn't do it on something this basic. I'd do it on something a little nicer. I got a lot of much nicer steak designs in my shop than these. These are about the most basic steaks you can think of. Just the tip, yeah. yes, Jacob, just the tip. Because that's going to be the easiest way to do it without costing or using a lot of silver. I've seen a few shops that sell silver tipped steaks. I don't know if they're using actual silver or not. If I was going to do it, I would use actual silver. There we go. And I got one more of these. This one's slightly longer. There we go. All right. Oh. Knocked over my spool. Hang on. Oh, and I did it again. Come here, spool. Stop messing around. Not the tip, the side. Oh, like silver inlay on the side? No, well, I mean, yes, that would look cool as hell. But still, I do not have tools to do that in my shop. I have a to-do list or a wish list a mile long as far as stuff I'd like to get for the shop. You know, like I need to get a drill press because I do all my drilling by hand, which takes a really long time. I'd like to get a drill press. And also it helps keep things like symmetrical instead of just having to eyeball it. I need a steam bender. I need, you know, I'd like to get a smelter. I'd like to get a lathe. There's a lot of stuff for the shop that I will be getting over time. Inside the body. Huh, interesting idea. I like it. Well, I find it's the little things that make stuff nice, you know? Because, like, I've seen quite a few vendors on eBay, especially, that sell steaks, and their stuff is either made of very cheap wood. I guess this one guy, he makes like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Mr. Pointy steaks, and they look really good. They do. But they're made out of balsa wood. So, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with balsa wood. It's what they make like little airplanes out of because it's so light. But yeah, balsa wood, very, very easy to snap. So unless you're going to buy it and put it up, you know, on a display and just leave it there, it would probably work great for that. But if you're going to be walking around with it for a costume, the moment you bump that steak into something, it's going to break. So I try to at least make my steaks out of stuff that I know is not going to break if it gets hit or damaged. Or hit or impacted, I mean, not damaged. But yeah, cord wrapping, I hate doing it, especially the way I do it, because the way I do it tends to be a little time consuming. But it is simple. It's easy to replace if it comes off. It's fairly easy to take off if you need it. And it feels good in the hand. Tony, did you just wake up and flip on YouTube to watch this? You're gonna end up with weird dreams if you fall asleep during this live, man. I'm gonna take my glasses off. I have bifocals, and so I can focus on small type. But these days, it seems like I can focus on it easier just without my glasses. So you guys get to see my tired eyes this morning. Because I'm probably the only genius in the world that voluntarily gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday to come to a shop and do a bunch of work and go live on YouTube at 7:30 a.m. at a time when no one's usually awake. If you're just joining us, welcome to my Sunday finishing work live at Warrior Wood and Props. You're welcome to put any questions you have in the chat. I will gladly answer them. Just doing my finishing work on the last steak of my weekend. And we're going to go put all this stuff away. But anything you see on this live will end up on my eBay shop. Warrior Wood and Props on eBay. And actually, the easiest thing to do is just go to eBay and search steak. And probably the first thing that comes up is probably going to be my shop, like vampire steak. Probably the first one that comes up will be my shop. And just go to the shop and you can get this stuff. You can also go to my main website, which is warriorwoodandprops.com. That site does not have my full inventory at the moment. I'm in the process of changing things up where eBay is going to be my main store and the website will mostly be for big ticket items and custom orders. Because when it comes to big ticket items and custom orders, eBay takes way too much. They just take so much in fees when you do that stuff. So, but if you want like a custom battle bat or a custom steak or whatever, or a custom waster or boken, you go to the website. At the top of the homepage, there's a button that says custom orders / contact me. You just click that button, let me know what it is you're wanting, and we'll get you taken care of. All right, I think one more. That's good. I think one more will start slipping off. Woot woot. All right. There we go. There we go. Got 2 sets of vampire steaks. These two will probably sell as a set. Be right back. I'm gonna go put these in my inventory room. I'll be right back. Also, just to let you guys know, another thing I do in my shop are custom battle bats. This is the no-brainer axe bat that I made recently. I finished a nail bat for an influencer called Nugs the Final Girl who does horror movies just last week. But yeah, I do a lot of custom battle bats for people. This was one that I made just for shits and giggles because I had a vision of it and I wanted to make it real, because that's kind of my favorite thing to do, is see something crazy and make it real. So yeah, this is the no-brainer. This is already up on the shop for sale if you're interested in it. It is real, it is functional. These are embedded in the wood with industrial epoxy and plumber's putty epoxy, and these are actual table saw blades that I cut in half and embedded with the teeth down, so no matter which direction you swing, the teeth are going in the direction of the swing. But yeah, these are my favorite thing in the world to make. I only get to make probably 5 or 6 of these a year, but I really enjoy making them. Be right back. And go put this on its rack. One of these days, I'm going to do a live in my inventory room so I can just show off everything that we've got in this shop, because I have so much stuff. Especially right now, because I am beefing up my inventory for spooky season, because Halloween for my shop is basically Christmas part 1. I make a lot of sales at Halloween, and then I go right into the holidays after that. Also, I need to say this on every live, until June 21st, my shop will be closed from about June 20th till July 25th. Around that time, I will have I might have like a limited inventory, mostly like I'll leave yawara and steaks up on the shop, but all my other items will be just temporarily disabled until I get back. I will stop taking custom orders on June 10th. So if you need a custom order, definitely get that to me by June 10th. Because as of June 10th, I'm not taking custom orders, because it takes me at least 10 to 14 days usually to do a custom job. So, it just kind of depends on what it is and how complicated. But I don't want to be leaving anybody in the lurch while I'm going to be gone for a month. I go to Texas every summer and hang out with my kid during a summer vacation. So normally I close the shop when I go, but this year, since I'm starting off on eBay this year, I felt like I could just take yawara and steaks with me to Texas. So at least I have some stuff still up on the shop. But I will be back on July 25th. I'll probably open the shop back up or restart the whole thing before I leave Texas. So that way, whatever orders come in while I'm driving back to Florida, I can fill those when I get back. But yeah, so my shop, like I said, closed from June 21st to July 25th because I need a break. I'm going to go hang out with my kid. That is all my projects for this week. If anyone's got any questions, I'll stick around for a few more minutes. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. I know this is a really short live for my Sundays. Usually on Sundays, I'm on for about an hour to 2 hours because I have a lot more stuff to cord wrap. But this week just didn't quite work out that way, which is probably good. It's Memorial Day weekend. I don't think there's a lot of people here in the U.S. It's Memorial Day weekend anyway. I don't think there's a lot of people on YouTube right now at 7:30 a.m. on a Sunday on Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, that was all my projects for this week. I'll give you guys like 3 more minutes. If you've got any questions, drop those in the chat and I will gladly answer them before I pop off. Oh, goodness. And tomorrow, oh, I'm so happy. Tomorrow I get to sleep in. I never get to do that. I get to sleep. I don't have to set an alarm or anything. I can just lay in bed and sleep until I wake up. And that's my plan. Tonight, I am, I don't know if you are a Helldivers 2 player. I am an avid Helldivers 2 player on the Warrior of Destiny, SES Warrior of Destiny ship. Super Earth is currently under attack by the Illuminate Squids. And, I have not been able to join the fight much this weekend because of work. So tonight, I am going to get on. I am going to do a marathon on Helldivers 2. So I'm going to get on there. I don't go live. I don't do Twitch or anything like that. I'm just going to get on tonight. I have not had a gaming night in forever. So tonight, I'm going to get on, make some snacks, and fight for Super Earth and manage democracy until I get tired, which I'm old these days, so that may come sooner than later. Yeah, gonna go play some Helldivers 2, fight against the Squid Menace, and hopefully we don't lose all the mega cities on Super Earth. Hey, show Cthulhu who's boss. Yeah, well, the Illuminate, they're actually technically called the Illuminate, but if Helldivers 2 is about anything, it's what they call space racism. It's a joke, but we have all kinds of crazy stuff. Like we have automatons, we call them bots or clankers. We have the Terminids, we call them bugs because they're bugs. And then you have the Illuminate, we call them squids. So yeah, they are somewhat Cthulhu-like though. Well, yeah, it's my favorite game in the world. I am a big fan of MMORPG type style games, especially co-op first-person shooters, or even actually co-op third-person shooters. Even I'm a big fan of, and I was a huge fan of Destiny and Destiny 2. Destiny 2 got a little old for me after a while, so I stopped playing. But Helldivers 2 has been like my favorite game, I think, since Destiny. It's been awesome. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna go home, order groceries, do some laundry, I'm gonna watch bad movies tomorrow. I watch at least 1 or 2 bad movies every weekend and post about it on my Instagram, in that rbrown37 on Instagram. But not doing that today. Today I'm just gonna go home, do some chores, and then I'm gonna play Helldivers 2. Release the Kraken. And play Helldivers 2 until late, and then sleep in. And then tomorrow I'm going to get up, maybe order some donuts, and watch some bad movies. I'm going to be very lazy tomorrow. That is like, I know everybody wants to go out and do stuff for Memorial Day. No, thank you. I never get a day off where I have nothing to do these days. So I work 3 jobs at this point. 2 as a writer and 1 doing this. So Yeah, so tomorrow my plan is to do nothing that I don't want to do. I'm going to get up, order some donuts from my favorite donut shop, and I'm going to watch bad movies and lay in bed and be a lazy, chubby, happy me. That is my plan. All right, you guys. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and call this good. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with me on a Sunday morning. I really do appreciate it. I go live every Sunday around 7:30 a.m. and pretty much I'm on live until I'm done. Sometimes it's like today where it's 45 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour to 2 hours. So, hey, Jacopay, thank you. Take care. Yeah, so the time varies, but I'm on every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. And then on Saturdays, I have Saturday staining. I do most of my shaping work on Saturdays and sanding. And then after I'm done with all that, I do my staining and tongue oiling. So I go live when I'm doing that. That's usually around 12:30 or 1 p.m. Eastern time in the U.S. I do that. And I do this one on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time in the U.S. Hey, thanks, Ulrich. Have a good day. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. Really appreciate it. Go to Warrior Wood and Props on eBay or warriorwoodandprops.com. Check out my stuff. I'll see y'all next week. Take care.